What's popping, guys? We're back. It's like week 6 of the NFL season now.
Yeah.
Season's wrapped up in the books. MLB's getting there. We're in the championship series in each conference, not division. The Yankees didn't make it out. They made it farther than we thought they would, but they didn't.
It's true.
Get into that here in a little bit. Obviously, the Rays look like a tough beat. I was kind of hesitant to pick them early on. I know you were on that bus right away, but I didn't think a team that didn't have a superstar in their lineup was going to push the envelope like they did. But
Yep.
they're getting. I mean, I don't even know how to say that dude's name. Azarino.
Azarena.
Azarino. He's on fire right now.
Oh yeah.
Tyler Glasnow's pitching really well. Dirty stuff too. I mean, this dude's throwing 101-mile-an-hour cutters. There's no chance in hell you're hitting that. So
yeah. Well, I mean, we're already talking about it, so let's get into it. Right off rip. So last week we were here, and we both thought this game was ending the series was ending at 4, and the Yankees got. I mean, their strategy worked pretty well. I mean, they got 4 scoreless, I believe, out of Montgomery. And then they gave the ball to Green, who gave him like 6 outs. And Green, he had a hell of a series. I mean, the guy went out there and essentially he didn't pitch game 5, but he pitched like 1 through 4 and was like I don't want to say lights out, but I mean, the dude was good in all of them. They gave the ball to Britton, who gets 5 outs, and then they give the ball to Chapman, who gets 4. And then it's like you go into game 5, you have Garrett Cole on the mound in a game 5, and it's like
you gotta like your chances. Yeah,
I'm about to say that's it. I mean, as a Yankees fan, that's all I wanted. I just wanted Garrett Cole with a chance to win it. And they pitched Glasnow in that game 5, the Rays did. And if you would have told me that Cole goes 5 1/3 and gives up only 1 run, I'm probably going to tell you the Yankees win that game,
Yeah.
And really, I mean, who had the I think Judge had the first inning home run that ended I don't know. I think Judge had the early home run that ended up in the 3rd row out and right. But then who hit the game-tying home run? Someone hit a game-tying home run to right. I forget who that. Maybe it was Azarine. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank.
I am as well. But you go to the 6th. I think it was the 6th. Either the 5th or the 6th. I'm not sure. But Azarina hit the one that got robbed by Gardner.
Okay.
He was the one that got hit by or robbed by Gardner, and then they pulled him. The game was really weird because they pulled Cole, and they went straight to Britton, and that was in like I want to say it was in the 6th, and at that game's still tied. I think Glasnow he got pulled early.
I think he only went 2, maybe.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Which is interesting because he was coming off of, I think, just 2 days rest. So obviously they're not going to go there and throw him 7 innings. But,
and really, the Rays had a perfect pitching strategy for this. Because, like, I got really worried once I saw this. So Britton comes in the 6th. And he didn't have much trouble getting through the end of the 6th and then into the 7th. And then once he gets into the 7th, like, with 2 runners on, or with 2 outs, I think Ji-Man Choi was coming up to bat with 2 outs, that was whenever Cole got pulled. Someone was coming up when Britton came up, and then they pulled him and went to Chapman in the 7th. And at that point, I'm like, okay, like that's fine if you have a 4-run lead, you know what I mean? But the game's tied.
Yeah.
And the problem is that the Rays had Blake Snell in the bullpen, they had Charlie Morton in the bullpen. They had Castillo in the bullpen still at that time. And it was like, if this game goes into extras, the Yankees have nobody. Yeah. I mean, I guess you could go to Tanaka, but he was coming off of that game 3 just ass whooping where he got blistered. And it's like, the guy, I mean, he didn't go that far, but it was like, after you get blistered like that, it's like, can you really trust him to pitch extra innings in a tied game, winner take all
game, yeah.
And it's like, I mean, Tanaka's been good throughout his postseason career, but this season, I mean, he looked shaky against the Indians, and then he came out again in game 3 and just got tore up. And it didn't feel right because it was like best case scenario, Chapman gives you 7 outs, right? He gets you to the end of the ninth. But if the game's still tied at the end of the ninth, okay, the Rays have the Rays have a huge advantage because Snell could have pitched 5 innings that night. I mean, the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he was coming off 3 days rest, but it was like shit. I mean, he legitimately could have went out there and thrown until the 15th inning, and then the Yankees. I mean, who are you gonna throw? Davy Garcia, who you threw for 3 outs and pulled in the second inning of game 2, and so I didn't like the strategy. I didn't know what Boone was thinking, but I was like, maybe if someone gets a run in the top of the 8th or ninth, like this will work out. But then you come up into the bottom of the 8th, and Brosseau, wasn't at bat here. I mean, the guy pimps a foul ball 500 feet, and it was a 10-pitch at bat, and he just kept getting closer and closer and closer. And he had the one where he fouled the fastball straight back, which meant that, he was on it. He just didn't get the timing right. And then it was like the next pitch, Chapman throws 101 down the middle of the plate, gets sent into the third row, and the series is essentially over. I wasn't really upset with it because it's like last year when Chapman gets beat on the slider, right? I mean, was Altuve way under buzzer? I mean, who knows? But it's like if you're gonna get beat, at least get beat with your best pitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if a guy beats you on 101 and turns it around, he wins. You know what I mean? You can't be mad at it. He was just better than you. You know what I mean? And so Brosseau turns 101 around, and it was just you can't say much about it. It was just a hell of a sequence there, and the Rays.
Something you gotta like going back with Chapman, like when he was with the Cubs, like in that game 7, he came in early and he had to come out. I think he came out in the 8th or the 7th or the 8th. He then has to go out for the next half inning, and then he comes back in. And I think just him taking that rest in that half inning, it seems to hurt him in the playoffs because in that World Series game, Rajai Davis comes in and ties it up with I think it was a 3-run homer.
Yeah,
you see it against Tampa Bay last week. He gives up the go-ahead bomb in the 8th, and I don't know if it's just a confidence thing or if it's just him not being used to throwing and then sitting for 10 minutes and then going back out.
And I'm not entirely sure if he pitched the 8th and then the 9th against the Astros last year. I'm not entirely sure if that was the case, but I mean, the guy, he's normally pretty reliable. I mean, that's why you pay him as much as you do and all that. But I mean, I'm not mad at it. It's just, they didn't really use Ottavino at all in that series, which is kind of puzzling to me because you paid him a lot of money too. And he's been kind of shaky this year, but the guy is still one of the better relievers in baseball. And it's like, I just don't see why you had to bring Chapman in the 7th, knowing the Rays could pitch their entire pitching staff as a bullpen game.
Like, I get the idea of, like, throwing your best arms possible.
Yeah.
But it's not like the Yankees have nothing. Like you said, they had Green, who'd been pitching well. Sure, he might have been tired, but I would rather take my chances of him and Chapman splitting that time instead of Chapman getting essentially 9 outs. He doesn't make it to the 9, obviously, but your plan was hey, we're going to go 3 pitchers and try to throw our 3 best. And
really, I think the Yankees, in a perfect world, they would have got Cole to go maybe 6 1/3, closer to 7. But, the Rays did a great job of just making at-bats long, making them pitch like 1 or 2 extra pitches per at-bat, and it added up.
Right.
I think by the time he got pulled, he was at 100 pitches. And
if you can get a guy at 100 pitches and he's not even at 6 innings, you're doing your job at the plate.
Yeah.
And you're forcing the issue. Obviously, if he's at 75 pitches at that point, you're not taking him out.
Yeah. And like I said, and really, like, with the amount of firepower in that offense, and with Cole pitching a winner-take-all and the bullpen they have, if you tell me the Rays only score 2 runs, 9 out of 10 times, I'm telling you, the Yankees are probably winning that game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, Stanton was on fire in that series. Judge was starting to warm up. Voit had a homer in game 4. It was just like, I felt like that team could get 3 runs if possible, but shouts out to Tampa Bay, man. They shut that team down.
It felt like every time I saw an update, it was Stanton or Judge was hitting 500 feet, and you're just like, I don't know how they lost the series, but I mean, like you said, the Rays they battle, and they've got such a deep pitching staff. It's not even fair. And the
For
guy that
sure.
I was thinking last week, trying to think, Jose Alvarado, I believe is his
Uh-huh.
name. He's a
Uh-huh.
lefty. He's not even on their playoff roster. I think he only pitched in 9 games this year.
Mhm.
If he had him in their bullpen, they probably don't lose a game in the playoffs. This dude's like 22, 23 years old, and he's throwing 101-mile-an-hour two-seamers that cut into lefties. There's like, that's your eighth best option.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, come on.
and I mean, Kevin Cash said it earlier this year whenever Chapman threw over Brosseau's head in August. He said, if they want to play that way, I've got a whole damn stable of guys who throw 98. He ain't lying. He
Yeah,
is not lying.
he can do it. I mean, they
And
can.
and, and, and it's such an advantage for that team because, I mean, you got guys like Kiermaier, Azarena, Choi, Willie Adames. You got a lot of journeymen on that team who all they really needed were the right dance partners. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it seems like they got the right dance partners. And that whole pitching staff. I mean, I've said it throughout the year. They're the best for this format in terms of an opener and just throwing a bullpen game every day. If they wanted to, this postseason, they could throw Snell for 2 innings, Morton for 2 innings, Glasnow for 2 innings, Castillo for 4 outs, and then try to get like 4 or 5 outs elsewhere. And they probably wouldn't lose a game. I
No,
mean,
that's
they're
insane too.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, and like I didn't even name off like other pitchers who have come in and done work for him this year. It's just if they wanted to just stick with a 4-man lineup every day and just throw every game like a bullpen game, they could do it very successful. And I
yeah,
don't know if any other team could do that because I don't see Kershaw coming in the fifth every day and being as effective as he would knowing that he's starting the game. You know what I mean?
right.
I don't see uh
Walker
who's
Bueller.
yeah, Walker Bueller. I don't see him doing that as well. Dustin May, I can actually see him doing
Yeah,
that.
he's been coming out
But
of the bullpen for them when they
yeah,
need him.
yeah, but it's like, and I definitely don't see it with the Braves. I definitely don't see it with the Astros. But I mean, nobody is as deep pitching wise.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
you look like Snell is perfectly fine if they pull him after 2 innings with no hits, but
yeah,
they'll also, like the other night, he had given up 3 or 4 runs through 4 innings, and he's still in the game.
yeah.
And it's just they kind of just play it by ear. They're like, well, if it depends on how he's feeling, how the offense is looking, and if they want.
And really, and another thing, like usually like in between your starts, like you'll see the pitchers in the dugout with the hoodies on or whatever.
Yeah,
Their whole pitching staff is in the bullpen.
yeah.
Like it doesn't matter if it's like they
Whoever's
will
gonna be
pitch.
called.
Yeah, I mean I their strategy is just perfect for this format. And if Atlanta somehow finds a way to win 2 of the next 4, I think the Rays might sweep Atlanta. I mean,
Yeah.
do we really think the Astros have any chance of winning 3 straight against?
No, I
I mean,
mean,
I don't either.
well, it'd be 4 straight if you count last night too. I mean,
Correct.
and last night they're up 4-2 in the ninth, and I can't remember who's at the plate for Tampa Bay, but there's 2 outs in the ninth, runner on first, and they came like 4 feet from tying that game up. Hits
Yeah,
it off the wall for
I think it was Adames. I think it was Willie
I
Adames.
think it was, yeah. 'Cause I think it was either a double or a triple, and then they
Yeah,
couldn't get him in, but they ended up losing 4-3. But if I had to, like, I haven't watched every Rays game, like, start to finish, but say they do finish this run and they do win the World Series, who do you pick as their World Series MVP? Because you can make the case for Adames because of his defensive play. He's been clutch at the plate.
yeah,
Any other pitchers have a chance. Azareno's got a shot.
yeah,
Choi's got a shot. I
yeah.
mean, everybody on
and,
their lineup has done their job to
and
perfection.
well, that's something else that we haven't even touched on, the defensive end. Their defensive play this postseason has just been
Phenomenal.
otherworldly. I mean, Choi at first. The amount of times he's either had to do the splits, get his jersey dirty.
Imagine if Altuve was thrown to him.
Goodness gracious! I don't.
Altuve gonna
Man.
have 87 errors in 6 games.
I mean, just absolutely. I mean, it's different, man. I mean, that's a really good point. I mean, if they do find a way to pull that off. I don't know. I mean, maybe Azzarena just for as many home runs as he's hit, but man, that's a tough call.
I mean, everybody has done their job.
Yep.
And I mean,
absolutely.
That's one of the things. Was like, you give co-MVP to 11 guys and say, hey, all the pitchers, all the guys get.
Well, to be honest with you, I mean that would be a very fitting for a team full of journeymen. You know what I mean? That would be
It's crazy. Like everybody on their team has a legit case, and it's like you look at Atlanta, like it would come down. I mean, who on Atlanta? It'd be Albies and Freeman.
Yeah,
have a chance. The Dodgers, it'd probably be Bellinger. By the way, his defensive play is taking a huge leap in the playoffs. I think he's robbed 2 homers, and he's already obviously ripped a handful. I mean, the Astros, they don't have a shot, plus they're bitches, so they don't get it. But, yeah, I mean, I don't want to keep harping on the Rays, but, I mean, the job that they've done so far, and it's not like they've played easy competition. Obviously, you're not because you're in the playoffs regardless. But, I mean, they beat the Yankees. They beat the
Blue Jays.
And the Astros, who have looked pretty much unbeatable in the postseason, not so much in the regular season, but they got hot in the playoffs, and then the Rays just put their foot on their throat and went up 3-0 on them. And I mean, off that. It's just impressive what they've done, and then I mean that series is probably going to be over tonight. If not tonight, it'll be tomorrow. I don't know who's pitching for them. I think Glasnow went last night. It might be Morton tonight, but I'm not 100% sure.
But again, that doesn't matter because their whole staff could be pitching tonight.
They might even be smart throwing out somebody on short rest just because they know that they'll have the extra rest while they wait for the National League to finish up. Because we'll jump over that one. That one's 2-1. Atlanta looked dominant at the end of game 1. They ended up putting up, I think it was 4 in the 9th and won it 5-1. Game 2, they get up to an early lead, almost blew it. Dodgers fought back. I think they scored 4 in the 9th, ended up being 8-7.
Yeah.
And then game 3, holy shit! The game started at 6:30 or 7. I don't even remember. I was busy eating dinner. Come downstairs and it's 11-0. Well, it was 7-0. The ball was in the air over the fence to make it 11-0 from Max Muncy, and you're just like, the Dodgers bats are here. Is Bellinger the best 6-hitter in baseball? Probably. I mean, you have one of the best bats in baseball hitting bottom of your lineup. And
Pretty good.
That I don't even like. They ended up pitching Urias last night, and Kershaw was scratched from game 2. Well, now he gets ready. You didn't have to worry about throwing him in game 3 because by the time your pitchers have to take the field, you got an 11-run lead. Perfect scenario for them to get themselves back into it. I don't even know what the final was. 15-3.
Something ridiculous, man.
5 runs in the first 3 innings.
Game started at 5:30 Central and ended by 6. I mean, it was close. I mean,
wild. And then
if any of your friends took the under last night, go check up on them. Just
idiot would do that. Trying to look here. We don't edit this stuff out, guys. You guys get the live. We also don't do any fact checking, so.
But that's because everything I say facts, so you don't have to check it.
That is true. Do they not have probable starters tonight?
I mean, probably. I don't know.
Tonight we've got Kershaw and Wilson in Atlanta, which I was talking to Caleb about this. Wasn't really. I sent him a text, but you look at the Braves. Their only chance of really winning that series is if they win games 1 and probably 4 or 5 when you have Fried on the mound.
Yeah.
And then you got to hope that you get a win on any other night. And Kershaw getting scratched helped their chances.
they go up 2-0, and then they still have one more game of Freed coming up. Can they claw out another win? I don't know, because their pitching staff has not been great. And losing Soroka's, I mean, that's a huge blow, obviously. So them making it this far is impressive, just knowing that they only have really one ace on their roster, and you kind of need at least two, usually three, if you want to make a run in the playoffs. So, I mean, we'll see what they can do from here. But
yeah,
I don't like them to win it if it goes to 7, but if they can get out one more, they've got a shot. It's just the Dodgers, man. Dude, they're 9 hitters better than most teams clean up, probably. So
fair, super fair.
I think you look at like their lineup, you're like, oh, who's their weak spots? Like, oh, it's probably Enrique Hernandez. Hey, buddy, he's no slouch. Like, you're not getting a break no matter who you're throwing against. So,
yeah, no, it's different there in LA, man. It's gonna be
how badly is the MLB praying that they get the Dodgers into the World Series just so it's not Braves and Rays? Because that is a median for their revenue.
Yeah, I was about to say that's not exactly pulling in casual viewers. I'm sure people can't wait to see Kevin Kiermaier against Freddie Freeman.
But to that point, Freddie Freeman has been unstoppable the last few nights, so
true.
He'd be an MVP candidate to consider, especially a guy who didn't even think he was going to play this season because of he tested positive not long before the season and really struggled with getting over coronavirus, and then he really went out and he's been on fire the last few nights. So
yeah,
good for him. But yeah, baseball. And baseball is baseball. Every night.
Yeah.
I mean, we looked like it looked like Braves had it in the bag after 2 games, and then they came out and just shit the bed, which not all that unfamiliar with the Braves last year. If you're familiar, they went out and lost. They gave up like 10 runs in the first inning against the Cardinals.
Yeah.
In an elimination game, which is much less ideal.
Not only elimination, winner take all.
Yeah, winner take all. I mean, God, brutal. Basketball, there's not really much else to talk about.
Yeah, we're not even going to talk about it. It's just that's a wash. That's a wash. Football, I mean, all right, now we got something to talk about. I mean, where do you want to start? Do you want to start on Sunday night? I mean, we can start Sunday night. Seattle and Minnesota. I know this one's going to be this is going to be an interesting little 5 minutes here for you. Minnesota should have won that game. They had that game dead to rights.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a weird year for the Vikings, right? They come out, they play Green Bay opening weekend, put up a decent fight, just couldn't get out of field position ruined that game for them. They lose it by 2 possessions. I think it was 43-34. Come out week 2, flat, just get their ass beat by the Colts, which, hey, that's nothing new. They can't beat the Colts. I believe their 2 worst performances under Mike Zimmer have come against the Colts, which is just great for me.
Sure.
I think 2016, the Colts put up like 40-something points on them and just beat the shit out of them. Coming back, week 3, they play Tennessee, who undefeated still. They had a chance to win that game. They had every shot to win it. Early second half turnover puts them in a hole. Kind of ruined the momentum. They miss a field goal, end up losing that game by 1. Beat the Texans, who then fire Bill O'Brien. And then they lose to Seattle. They lose it by a point. As of right now, the Vikings are 1-4. 3 of their losses are to undefeated teams. Their other losses to the who I think they played 5 teams. That's how 5 games work. You play 5 teams. 3 of them are undefeated. 1 of them has 1 win, and 1 of them is, I think, 3-2. So obviously the 2 The two teams who aren't undefeated are the two worst teams they've played, and it's been their best performance of the season and their worst performance of the season. I don't know what to make of that. But the Seattle game, they come out, establish the run. They dominate Seattle first half. It's 13-0. Should have been more, but they just couldn't get touchdowns. They were settling for 3 instead of 6.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to assume they get 7 because, hey, kicking's a disaster this year for everybody.
Sure.
Dalvin Cook goes out early second half. Groin injury. Shocker, Dalvin Cook gets hurt in the game and misses substantial time. His first play, he comes back. He's like, I'm going to test it out. Kirk Cousins has Justin Jefferson open for like 6 seconds. Across the middle of the field. Cousins just keeps rolling out, and just lobs it up in the air. It gets picked off. Seattle, it's 13-0 at the half. Seattle scores 21 points in like a minute and 15 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Early in the second half. Then they're down 21-13. Vikings start crawling back. They score to make it 21-19 and go for 2 to tie it, which is I'm fine with that because you need to go for 2 later in the game. Yep. They ran a quarterback draw out of the shotgun with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Needless to say, they're down 2. Okay.
Needless to say,
Seattle kind of stalls. They force a turnover. The Vikings do. They get an interception. Let's see. They score. At some point, it's 26-21. Cook is still out of the game. Alexander Madison proves that running backs don't deserve money. Because he comes in.
Damn.
He carries the ball 20 times for 112 yards.
Yeah. Eats up a lot of clock in doing so.
Oh, I mean, he chewed up clock. They move the ball down the field. They have a chance to hold the ball the last 5 minutes.
Well, I was going to say, didn't Minnesota hold the ball for something like 42 minutes or something like that in this game? It may have been more than that.
It was just under 40. I think it was like 39 out of the 60 minutes. They had the ball for 21 minutes in the first half, I believe.
Yeah.
I mean, perfect game. I mean, you dominate time of possession. You had 450 yards of offense. You put up points. You got big stops. And then, god damn it, dude, every week, last year, their thing was once a week we got to throw a fullback screen for 1 yard. They would do that every game. No idea why. It just killed the drive.
Got to establish the fullback screen game, man.
Listen, you don't have Kyle Juszczyk. I love C.J. Ham, but he's just not the same player as Juszczyk. There's no point forcing him the ball. Let him do his job as a blocker. They come out. It's 3rd and 4 from, I believe it's inside the Seattle 15.
With like 3 minutes to go at this point.
It might be a little under 3. You're nearing the 2 minute.
Yeah.
So you're running the ball down their throat, okay? And yeah, your right guard, Drew Samia, had the worst game I've ever seen from an offensive lineman. He had I think he had 4 penalties. He had another one that was declined. He couldn't block anything. Everybody was going right through him. I don't know how they said he only gave up 1 pressure. He gave up about 700 of them. He gave up every run stop in the book. And you're running the ball down their throat still because you're going to the left side. Your left side played fine. Well, it's 3rd and 4. Let's do an end around to Adam Thielen, who, hey, he's not a running back. They do this shit every week. He gets 1 end around a game. He gets stopped short. It's 4th and inches. You come out I formation. Alexander Madison back in the backfield. Listen, a field goal puts you up 8 with about 2 minutes left, a little under 2 minutes. All you have to do is stop the Seahawks from going down the field. Obviously, you don't trust their defense, right? Their defense hasn't been good all season. My thing was, you give yourself the 3 points because it's a chip shot. Obviously, there's no such thing as a chip shot against Seattle. If you're a Vikings fan, you know that all too well. Thanks, Blair Walsh. But 8 points is 8 points. I would rather trust that defense with 8 points and let them be relaxed a little bit and say, hey, we just have to stop them from scoring. They have 2 minutes. We've got a safe lead. Just play conservative, stay back, don't let them take anything over the top. No, the Vikings go for it. They run the ball right at Drew Samia, who hasn't been good all night. C.J. Ham has been a good blocker all season. He gets kind of stood up by I think it's from the linebacker pulling across from the middle. Madison has a wide open spot on the outside. He misses it. He tries to just power his way through. He gets stopped short. Seattle gets the ball. And at that point, you know that they lost this game. You're up 5 with a half left.
And I agree. I thought that, of course, it was pouring in Seattle at this point. I mean, so, you risk if someone slips, but, hell, instead of having the ball at the 4, they're going to have it at the 12. So it's like, what's the difference, And so, yeah, I thought it was an interesting play call. I would have, I don't know. I wouldn't have run the ball. If I was going to go for 4th down there, I would have tried to throw him for a touchdown and just put the game out of reach. Because what's the?
You weren't expecting it.
Yeah, I think if what you're expecting would be like a quarterback sneak or something coming out of that to it, and it was like, what I would line up with that sneak formation and then just pull it out and throw it to like a tight end or something, put the game on ice. You know what I mean? That's what I would have done if I was calling that situation. I definitely would have handed it off to the running back, just because it didn't seem that efficient. Yeah, I just
getting it, and you can give it to the fullback. You can, I just don't understand running it to the right. If you want to go for it, that's fine. I don't like the call. I would rather just taken the points, but I don't trust. Why would you run the ball to your worst spot, to your weakest link?
Yeah, I thought it was weird too. And then coming out of the Vikings defense though, they had chances to end that game. They had the 4th and 10, on Seattle's 30, and then Metcalf gets like the 40-yard catch down the sideline.
Yeah, Wilson, the Seahawks didn't convert a single 3rd down all night, and they still won that game. It's 4th and 10. It looks like it's over. He just chucks one out on the sideline, and you've got a rookie cornerback in Cam Dantzler who, it's only his 3rd career game. He missed a couple of games with injury. He's still kind of trying to get his feet wet, and you're playing one of the best receivers in the league.
Yeah,
and he just
didn't know.
He knew where the ball was, but he didn't make a play on it. He didn't expect Metcalf to jump. He was trying to just bait it and run it down. If he would have just stopped and made a play on the ball, they walk out of that game with a win. But he tries tracking it like he's the receiver, and he just keeps on going down the field. Metcalf undercuts it. Easy pickup. And then, again, they get a stop down near the red zone. They force a couple incompletions.
But
let's take their timeout. I don't know what they're doing. There's 45 seconds left, and the Vikings are letting the Seahawks run the clock out.
Yeah.
So if Seattle scores, Vikings have no chance. Seattle does score the 4th down.
And I was gonna say, so getting down to I think it was the 1, or it was within the 5. So they're down the 3rd down. Wilson gets the completion to Metcalf, and he gets into the end zone, and the ball gets knocked out, and they call it an incomplete pass. I thought that was a touchdown.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was because it was so.
The guy makes the catch. Yeah, the guy makes the catch. He has 2 feet down, makes what I consider a football play by turning towards the, in the go direction, and then by the time he crosses the plane, the ball gets knocked out. Touchdown.
Yeah, I would have been fine with it if they called it that way because it was so bang bang, but they just had him again. It's you get it to 4th down, and
everyone
the Metcalf.
Well, everyone in the world knows it's a pass.
Yeah.
So it's you don't even have to linebackers stay in the end zone, just bring 4. But it was no, they tried to rush Wilson, and Metcalf gets free, gets the catch.
Yeah, if you watch it back, I think it's Adenabo is coming off the edge. Clean shot at Wilson, he just stops. I don't know what he's doing. He just kind of hesitates. He gets through the line and just kind of takes a little stutter, gives Wilson enough time to throw it. Great play by Metcalf. He gets down and hauls it in, protects the ball from hitting the ground, and then the game ended on a weird. They called it a fumble when the ball was very clearly not a fumble. Cousins' arm was coming forward. and it got deflected, and they called it the ref was like, yeah, that's a fumble, game over. Obviously, the Vikings aren't going to win it because you're still at like your own 20.
Yeah.
Obviously, things can happen, and miracles do happen, but with the way they were moving, it wasn't going to happen. But it was just a weird way to end it. The whole game sucked, but
Yeah,
yeah,
and really, I mean, the officiating, whoever the head official is should probably thank Russell Wilson and DJ Metcalf or DK Metcalf, if for whatever reason Seattle doesn't convert that fourth down, that third down play is all we talk about this week. I mean, that was atrocious. And
NFL
thankfully,
bad.
yeah, I mean, it didn't matter in the end, but I mean, that was bad. Heading to Monday night, Justin Herbert, we got to give this kid his flowers, man. I know we've talked about him a little bit the last couple weeks. This guy had a 17-point lead on the Saints, and if his defense wasn't dog shit in the second half, he wins on Monday Night Football.
How do you expect their defense to be good when they're playing Taysom Hill? How? Listen, best quarterback of all time, and you expect his defense to just dominate? I'm sorry, bro, but you're an idiot.
Yeah, and it's like it's not like they're putting him in like 1st and 10, up 14. No, they're down like a touchdown, 3rd and 5, and they're like, "That's our guy.
Let's kill this drive real quick." And then he gets a rushing touchdown. I was like, "That's why he's on the roster." Yeah, congrats. You just paid a dude like $11 million or whatever to carry the ball 15 times for 14 yards and a touchdown and complete 0 passes. Congrats. Sean Payton's a goddamn genius. But anyway, I mean, if you like that last drive after the Saints tied it, Herbert had a chance to go win it. He throws one of the most impressive throws you're going to see in an NFL game. Just chucks one up into triple coverage. Mike Williams goes up.
Yeah.
All 3 guys, gets horizontal, hauls it in. They get the timeout. They then do that little chew clock play where they just snap it and chuck it over a dude's head to run out to down to 5 seconds. Got a chance to kick a game winner. And in just typical Chargers fashion, their special teams just shits the bed. And, I mean, I always think back, like, there was the year, I want to say it was like 2006, or I'm not even going to guess the year. It might be way after that. But the Chargers had the number 1 offense in the league and the number 1 defense in the league and missed the playoffs because their special teams was so far in the end last. They couldn't pick it. They gave up special teams touchdowns. Like, they were just bad. And it's just like, that's why Phillip Rivers just never had success. Is like, he was really good. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. But, I mean, his defense and special teams never really gave him a shot.
And really, I mean, Herbert's had a couple great games to start his. I mean, he had Buffalo on the Sunday afternoon game a couple weeks ago. Looked great in that game, coming off of like 5 minutes notice. Last week, that's right, Kansas City, not Buffalo. And then last week, I forget who they were playing. It doesn't matter. And then obviously Monday night they faced Drew Brees and they should have won that game. They were up 17. I mean, if you hold a 17-point lead in the NFL, you should close that game. I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of inexcusable.
This is why, like, I hate quarterback records counting or like meaning so much when you're looking at like numbers and everything like that, because Tyrod Taylor's undefeated this season. He's 1-0. He beat a very bad Bengals team. And he barely got the win. He only got the win because the Bengals missed a chip shot field goal as time expired. Justin Herbert's been sensational.
Yep.
And he's lost to the Chiefs, the Saints. I can't think of who else they've played. But it's teams that everybody expected were going to make a run this year. Super Bowl caliber teams. And he's losing by 3 points, a touchdown. I mean,
hanging in there with everybody. He's not turning the ball over. He's
And it's not
picking
like
up
it's
big
his
chunk
fault
yards.
why they're losing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that he gave this team a chance to win in regulation. And if they make the field goal, we're not having this conversation.
Right.
Did he touch the ball in overtime? I thought the Saints got the ball and
Yeah, Saints got a field goal, and then I believe it was like 3rd and 7. He threw one over the middle. It was a little bit behind his receiver, dropped it, and then 4th and 7. He hit Mike Williams for 6 yards, and then Marshon Lattimore
That's
pulled
right.
back and
That's
kept
right.
getting it. So
That's right. Yeah. So I mean, shouts out to Justin Herbert. I mean, that kid's gonna do good things. Might win Rookie of the Year if he keeps playing this
yeah,
good.
I mean, even though he doesn't have a win yet, I mean, he's 0-4, but he's been the most impressive rookie up to this point.
Easily. And then Tuesday night, this one shocked me. I thought Tennessee was going to come out, look real rusty. I thought, not having any practice time, they were going to look incompetent out there. Buffalo 4-0. I thought they were going to be riding a little bit of confidence. If you would have told me one of those teams didn't practice for 2 weeks, I would have told you that the Bills didn't.
Yeah.
The Titans came out and just laid the hammer on Buffalo. Looked really impressive in doing so. Is Tennessee for real?
Yeah, I mean, the Titans are tough. I think Ryan Tannehill is, even after last year, I think he's one of the most underappreciated quarterbacks in the league. He does exactly what you want him to do. Derrick Henry still, I mean, that dude sent Josh Norman into orbit.
Yeah.
I mean, they were doing it without even their starting offensive line healthy. I think Taylor Lewan missed quite a bit of time in that game. And they still, I mean, they put up, 42 points?
Yeah.
Buffalo got off to a bad start with a tip pass that was intercepted by Malcolm Butler. Just like, I don't know what to take out of it from the Bills because, yes, they looked really bad. Josh Allen looked like Josh Allen we're used to. Just when he has time, he's unstoppable, but when he's asked to make a play, he kind of falls short. But then again, they were sitting here, they didn't know if they were going to play the Titans on Tuesday or the Chiefs on Thursday. So, their whole schedule is thrown off. They don't know what their game plan is until, realistically, probably Sunday night. And so they have really 2 days to kind of hunker down. Weird situation for them, but, I mean, Tennessee, first of all, stop playing the victim card. It was your fault. Stop acting like the league's out to get you just because you broke protocol. But, I mean, they're one of the most complete teams in the league. Jadeveon Clowney's still a really good run stopper. Their secondary is coming along. They've got 2 good safeties with Vaccaro and Byard. Run game's obviously good. They got A.J. Brown back. He's been out the last few weeks with injury. He's a wide receiver 1 in this league. They've got all the pieces you want. As long as Tannehill stays who he is and doesn't try to force anything, they should be all right. They're definitely a threat in the AFC once again. So,
I mean, really, if I'm Tennessee, I'm asking for every game to be played on Tuesday. They've never ever lost on Tuesday night. I'm just saying. I mean, if you're Tennessee, put every game on Tuesday, man.
I mean, since 1946, there's only 2 quarterbacks with a W on Tuesday night.
And one of them is Ryan Tannehill.
Do you know who the other one is?
Who is it, Roethlisberger?
No, hang on. It might have been against your Eagles.
Oh, shit.
Let me look.
Was it Minnesota?
Yeah. It was a blizzard in, in 2010, they pushed the game back to a Tuesday in Philly. Do you know who the Vikings quarterback was?
In 2010?
Yeah.
Favre?
Nope. Hey, here's a hint. Taysom Hill.
Was it really?
No. It wasn't Taysom Hill, but it was a guy who does Taysom Hill's job better than Taysom Hill.
What?
Joe Webb, baby!
wide receiver, quarterback, kick returner, special teams gunner. Yeah. And Tuesday night football champion. He was starting quarterback for the Vikings that year. Then he went on and he made their team as a wedge blocker and bottom of the depth chart receiver the next year. So Taysom Hill wishes he had that much.
Well, now I'm all depressed. So let's get into this week's picks. Last week, let's go ahead and recap that. Pour one out for my week 5 efforts. That was.
I don't want to ruffle any feathers, but he shit the bed. Not bad in the money line. He went 4-2 in the money line, brought his season total up to 18-12. It's respectable. Against the spread here, not great. He went 1-5. His only victory was the Browns, covered and beat the Colts. Didn't hit his lock. He picked the Falcons, actually, yeah. Didn't hit that one. He's now 12-18 against the spread. 3-2 in his locks. I, on the other hand, I am just keeping it rolling. I went 5-1 last week in the money line and in the spread. The last 2 weeks, I'm 10-2 in both of those categories. Really on fire. I hit my lock. My lock was, I believe, the Rams over Washington, which, hey, real quick. Hey, Washington. Dwayne Haskins wasn't your problem. We could have told you that. You pulled Dwayne Haskins and your offense had 100 yards. Alexander Madison played half of a game at running back and put up more yards than your entire offense. You despicable organization. All right, so I'm 20-10 against or in the money line, 18-12 against the spread. Huge lead in that one. Not to
Yeah.
2-3 in my locks. This week, schedule's a little bit weird. There's no Thursday night football, so I don't know what I'm going to do tonight. I guess I'll have to watch baseball.
Or you can watch old Georgia State against Arkansas State, you know?
I am a Red Wolves guy, so. Jeez. But luckily for us, the Chiefs-Bills game, which was supposed to be Thursday, got pushed to Monday. So now we're just going to put that game in. We're going to count as Thursday/Monday night football.
Yes, sir.
We that one. We both did Monday night, and then we also both picked Detroit's game. So, yeah, which one do you want to start with?
Well, let's go ahead and do the Monday night game since these are ones that we are obligated to do. So the one that was supposed to originally be Thursday night, Kansas City on the road at Buffalo. Buffalo just got the brakes beat off of them, and KC is undefeated and rolling. This could be a bounce back game for Buffalo at home. Kansas City, they were preparing for a game that was going to be on 3 days rest. Now they get, a whole week to prepare for it. I think if you give a whole week, if you give like 4 extra days to Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, I think they're going to make you pay for it. I think that Kansas City is going to come out of this game. I think they're going to put up a lot of points. I think Buffalo is also going to try to come out, put up some points, try to bounce back after a humiliating loss on national TV last night on Tuesday night. I got Kansas City -3.5. I have this winning this one 33-27 over 57.5.
All right. I think you said Kansas City's undefeated. They're not.
That's right.
They did lose last week. I think it's a big bounce back week for them though, and I think Tennessee exposed a lot of things about Buffalo's defense on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I think Mahomes is going to really try to. He's going to bounce back. He didn't play great, but his offensive line was not doing him any favors. He's kind of running for his life on Sunday. He lost Kelechi Osemele, who I have never seen something like this. I feel so bad for the dude. He was out. I think it was just out in space on a screenplay trying to set a block. goes down, poor ligaments in both knees on the same play. His season's done. Chiefs are going to try to find a way to replace him. He's been huge for them. But man, if the Bills don't have Trey White back, they're in for a long night, to say the least. But yeah, I've got the Chiefs winning and covering 34-24. I like their chances of just getting back on track. And this is a statement game for them. I think a lot of people have kind of imposed that Josh Allen's a MVP candidate, and he's going to try to threaten Mahomes for that title, and he's also going to try to challenge him for the AFC crown, and I just don't think they're ready for that yet. I think they can. I just don't think that they're comfortably in that position. I think I think it's the Ravens, Chiefs, and the Steelers are the three teams who can compete right now comfortably. And I think the Chiefs want to go out there and really kind of hammer that idea home. So give me the Chiefs in a nice little win.
Understandable. Second Monday night game, the original slotted Monday night game, probably the one that the regular Monday night crew's going to call. I assume Kurt Herbstreit and Reese Fowler's going to call the first game? Or Chris Fowler?
Maybe. It'll depend on what network's doing it, but
yeah,
I haven't looked into it.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be pretty cool. Arizona -1.5. They are on the road this week. They are playing Dallas. This one we haven't talked about it yet. Dallas, huge injury quarterback Dak with the Rice Krispie treat of the right ankle, the snap, crackle, and pop. What a sad moment. As an Eagles fan, this one was tough to watch just because I think in that moment, Guy potentially may have lost $100 million. And I'm all for these guys getting their money. Being an Eagles fan, I don't like seeing the Cowboys do well, but Dak, I feel like he's a genuinely good guy. I don't think he is as good at quarterback as what a lot of people think he is. I think that I think he does things well, but I think there are also holes in his game. That being said, though, I really wish he could have got his money, and unfortunately now, who knows if he ever does. Nothing but well wishes to him. Hopefully he has a speedy recovery and can make it back out on the field next year. Dallas is in a kind of a decent spot, though, for having to use a backup quarterback. They got Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton, I believe, is a top 32 quarterback in this league.
Yeah.
He's reliable. He gives you a chance to win. I mean, he gives you more of a chance than say like a Jarrett Stidham would. You know what I mean? And that's no disrespect to him. It's just the first name that popped into my mind when I thought of backup quarterback. I think this is going to be a tough game for Dallas to win. Arizona, Kyler Murray, Kenyon Drake, that receiving core. I think that, I don't want to say they're exceeding expectations, but they're definitely doing better than what I thought they would this year.
Yeah.
I think this could be a kind of a breakout game for Kyler Murray. If he's going to have anything close to resembling an MVP season, I think this is a night where he needs to kind of establish himself. This is a big opportunity for him. They're playing a very wounded Dallas team that just barely beat New York last week. And granted, some of that's because Dak was out, but it's like, I mean,
the Giants put up huge early.
Yeah, I mean, you take Dallas. I mean, put their offense aside, their defense is terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a game they've given up less than 30 points this year?
I
don't think so. Yeah, I mean, the team really should be like, I don't know, maybe 0-5. I mean,
you can make the case. Their only two wins were the Giants that they got a last-second field goal, and the Falcons.
Atlanta last-second
kick. So
and a last-second field goal. So.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just unfortunate situation there in Dallas, but I don't think they cover this one. I think Arizona covers the spread -1.5. I think they win this one 28-23, under 55. Dak, get well soon.
Yeah, I think I've been pretty critical of Prescott just because I like him as a quarterback. I liked him as a prospect. Obviously, coming out of college, he had an incredible final season at Mississippi State. But they
Dude,
were
now, it's one of those things. Do I think he's worth Mahomes kind of money? No. No,
no,
he can't do the things Mahomes can do.
no.
But
I would
that being
say
said,
the
no one
Watson
can.
money. I would put him in the Watson category.
Okay.
Because I mean, obviously, if you're a starting quarterback and that's the market, that's what you're going to get paid. And I think he's shown that he can carry a team if he has to. I was critical of him up until about the midway point of last season. He really he flipped a switch and became much more of a leader instead of being the backup. Because with the Cowboys, you would always kind of look at their run game, kind of kept their offense going. Late last year, you kind of start seeing a switch of he started controlling the game. Their success was predicated on his success.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, he was getting lowballed by Jerry. Sure, $35 million is a lot of money. But if his value is $40 million, he shouldn't take the 35. He took the franchise tag in hopes of making a little bit extra this year. At the end of this year, he deserves that right. He deserves that money. Injury was tough to see. Obviously, his reaction coming off, brutal. You feel so bad for the guy he's gone through so much just ever since college and then getting to the league and sliding in the draft because of an off-the-field issue. Taking over a team as a rookie that is coming off of Tony Romo as your quarterback and keeping the same success that they've had. And he's put everything he could into being a leader on and off the field, speaking out against different things, mental health and social.
For sure. Dude's a good person. Dude's a good person.
I mean, he's exactly what you look for in a franchise quarterback. And the Cowboys are saying that he's their future still. We hope, obviously, that's going to stay the same. I think if they don't pay him and he's coming off of an injury, I think he's still going to kind of haul in a lot of money next offseason, no matter who pays him. But yeah, his injury's very unfortunate, but that's why you go and get a guy like Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
You sign him as your backup just in case, and Andy Dalton was in Cincinnati, and they had a good team around him. He was a very good quarterback. When the team wasn't good around him, he wasn't great. I think he's in a fine situation in Dallas.
Yeah, and I mean it's tough because it's like, I like Dak. I mean, I think he's a good person, but it's like if he was as elite of a quarterback as what people think he does, Dallas would be blowing that division out of the water. You know what I mean? They would have won the division last year instead of the Eagles. It's just if you're going to be a tier 1 quarterback making tier 1 money, you can't be fighting for a division with an 8-8 record. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just I think that
his defense is a huge issue for and factor in that. But I agree that it's hard to pay that much money to a guy who hasn't really been. I mean, his rookie he went 12-4, I believe.
And if you're going 11-5 and you're getting a wild card like the 5 seed, like say San Francisco or Seattle, a couple years ago, like that's one thing. But if you're missing the playoffs by a game or on a tiebreaker against an 8-8 Eagles team, that's different. You know what I mean? Like you can't be making 40 million, 45. You can't be making that kind of money and not winning the division. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially when it only takes 9 wins to win the division. I mean, you just can't. And if we're gonna give the quarterback credit whenever they win, we got to give them the blame when they lose. You know what I mean? And so it's just it's unfortunate that it has to be that way, but that's just the world that we live in. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like Carson Wentz, another quarterback who got paid in that division. I mean, I think he's making something like $30 million a year. And it's like, we give him credit last year when he wins the division because he had no receivers. The guy had absolutely no offensive talent around him other than Zach Ertz and Miles Sanders. But it's like when you're 1-3-1 this year, I mean, you got to do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
the guy makes errant throws. The guy makes poor decisions from time to time. It's just, if you're going to give him credit when he does well, you got to give him credit when he loses. And it doesn't matter who you are. If you're a quarterback in the league, that's just the way it has to be. You know what I mean?
And I think Carson Wentz really shouldn't be playing much longer, I think. Jalen Hurts is getting close, I think, just because
Yeah, and
Wentz made
especially,
strides last week, but still not enough.
I mean, if they lose, I mean, I don't know if they're. I think they're playing this week. I don't think they're on bye. Um, but I mean, if they lose this week and drop to 1-4-1, and they're 2 games back in their, or a game and a half back in that division, I mean, you got to make a call. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just that division for the Eagles or the Cowboys. That division should be dead to rights this year. I mean, no team is above 500. You could argue that there should only be like one legitimate win in that division, um, or it, it doesn't matter. Just that division's terrible, and someone should be a clear runaway winner. There shouldn't be a fight for a 500 record. So whatever.
But,
Who do you got in that game?
yeah, so I also went with the Cardinals minus 1.5. Just looking last week, the Giants scored 34 points, and they gave up 130 receiving yards to Darius Slayton, with Daniel
Mhm.
Jones throwing them the ball. I don't really see their defense doing all that much better against Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins.
Yep.
So, and I think that the Cardinals' offense is definitely they've taken a step back the last few weeks, but they still have enough weapons. They lost Chandler Jones for the year on defense, which kind of hurts them, but I think they can still put up points. I've got them winning at 31-20.
Okay.
But yeah, that's not a game I'm super excited to watch. I just think it's going to be kind of an ugly one.
I think so as well. Going to Sunday, this game we also picked the same. Detroit on the road minus 3.5 against Jacksonville. Um, Detroit, I think they could possibly be a playoff team. With having a 7th team getting in this year, someone's got to make it. And I think of all the teams that are currently below 500 outside of the NFC East, I think they've got one of the best chances. If they're going to make any kind of serious run this year, this is a game they have to win against Jacksonville. And I think that they're going to come out and I think they're going to make a statement. I think that they're
Yeah.
going to. I think they're going to win this game, and I think that they're going to lead big, and I think they're going to give up some points late. I got Detroit covering 28-24, under 54.5.
Okay, I'm in the same boat. I think that they're going to be up big enough early, but they might give up a little bit late as Minshew kind of makes a little bit of a late push. But if Detroit loses this game, Patricia's fired. Jacksonville's not a good team. I've got Detroit winning it 31-24.
Okay.
That's another game. It's like nobody's really going to tune in. It's not an exciting game. Fantasy-wise, yeah, I mean, you've got Chark and Chenault and Galladay. But other than that, I mean, it's just a game of two bad teams who are trying
Desperate.
to not. Yeah, it's
Desperate.
like the Jags just got their shit handed to them by a winless Houston team.
Yep.
Detroit hasn't looked good at all this year. They put up a somewhat of a fight against the Saints, but pissed that away. So, yeah, I mean, I think Detroit gets the win, but I mean, that clock's got to be ticking on Matt Patricia.
Has to be. Absolutely has to be. Next game I picked, this is the first game that I believe that you did not pick as well. Green Bay -1 against Tampa Bay. Green Bay on the road. This is essentially pick 'em, and I think this is going to come up to a walk-off field goal. I think Green Bay. We're going to find out how for real they are based off this game. If they come out and struggle against Tampa Bay, Green Bay may not be as strong as what we think they are. This is a game that Green Bay should win, potentially by double digits, in my opinion. Green Bay's look good. I think that they got potential to make a deep run this year. Tampa Bay's relying a lot on Mike Evans, who just doesn't look. I mean, he doesn't look comfortable. The guy's out there limping. Granted, he's got a touchdown in every game this season, but the guy just, I mean, outside of like red zone, goal to go situations, the guy just doesn't look fluid out there. And so, I mean, this is a game that I think Green Bay should put away sometime in the third quarter. I've got Green Bay winning 31-28. I think Tampa Bay is going to keep it close. I think Tampa Bay is going to keep it close. They're going to have a chance to win late. I think Green Bay walks it off with a field goal. This one goes over 55, but we're going to find out a lot about Green Bay this week.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a tough one to pick. That's why I stayed away from it. But Tampa Bay is their defense is coming along. They choked last week, but it's just, like Mike Evans, it's so tough to know what you're going to get because, he might put up a score, but he also might just miss a deep ball. He's not hustling, or he just can't physically get to it. So
it's like, you see his stat line. It's like, he's got 2 touchdowns, but he also has 2 receptions for 2 yards. So what do you want to make of that? You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I stayed away from that one. But my only underdog that I have covering this week, I is staying in Sunday afternoon. I've got the Bengals covering against the Colts. Colts coming off of just a disappointing loss against Cleveland. Cleveland really moved the ball on them. Got some key turnovers. Phillip Rivers, a lot of people are calling for his replacements already. I did see an idea of trading for Matt Ryan or Sam Darnold here before the deadline. Trading for Sam Darnold in Indy would be hilarious. You traded the pick that the Jets took to get Darnold to rack up this huge offensive line, all these extra picks back in 2017 or whatever year it was, or 2018, I don't remember. And then you're going to just trade for Darnold with second-round picks, and then now Darnold's got a good offensive line, a good team around him. That'd be something.
Be different.
But I think the Bengals cover. I don't see the Colts as a team who's going to dominate, and I think a guy like Jesse Bates, the third, who plays safety for Cincinnati, I think he's going to make an impact. I think he's definitely capable of forcing a turnover on Rivers, and I think it just keeps him in the game. I've got the Colts winning it 28-24, but the Bengals keeping it close and making it a game.
Sure.
So, Bengals aren't I did say they're a bad team. They're not a great team. But they're also they're making steps along the way. They're getting better.
They're a top 30 team. Let's just say that.
They're not
top 30.
They're not piss poor. They're just pretty bad.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow's doing all right.
Well,
Young
speaking of a piss poor team, Miami -9.5 at home against the New York Jets. How Adam Gase has a job, I don't know. If you thought
Le'Veon Bell go and they kept Adam Gase.
Yeah. So, you thought that team had no weapons before. Well, just wait until Sunday. Moving that ball is going to be a struggle. This one feels like a pretty easy cover for Miami. They at least got players. You know what I mean?
That is true. They do have guys on their team.
It's true. That seemed kind of motivated. You know what I mean? It just, I don't know, man. I got this one 24-9. I think this one's going to be bowling shoe ugly. I think this one is going to be a tough one to watch.
Dude,
under 47. That actually might be my lock of the week. Under 47 for the Miami.
The Dolphins scored 43 themselves last week.
Yeah,
against the Niners. Holy shit, dude.
They might put up 70.
The Dolphins are 2-3.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They are the highest favorite in the league this week.
Yeah. That's bad.
The Jets are bad.
Yeah.
They are starting their lineup this week, just like last week.
I don't know.
Joe Flacco and Frank Gore. And if you saw my Frank Gore rant last week, golly, dude. And then Michael P. Ryan, who I was advocating for getting playing time last week, he goes out, his social media, you see his likes. He's sitting there saying, why is P. Ryan not getting touches? Adam Gase said he doesn't want to stunt his growth by making him play. Hey, buddy. You don't get better on the bench. You are the head coach of an 0-5 football team refusing to play young guys because you don't want to make them better?
Hey,
Adam Gase.
I don't want my major league team to be good. I want my AAA team to be stacked.
Yeah. Holy shit. Adam Gase has to go. I went through this last week. You guys are familiar with it. Dude, it's mind-numbingly stupid how they are
Yeah.
handling. Le'Veon Bell gets cut. His top three choices of teams: the Chiefs, the Dolphins, and the Bills, I think. Coincidentally, the Jets' next three opponents: the Chiefs, the Dolphins, and the Bills. He's gonna come wherever he gets picked up, and he's gonna cram the ball down their throat. Let's not forget, Le'Veon Bell did nothing with the Jets. They gave him all
Yeah.
this money, and he had no numbers. And guess what? Not even his fault. They
Yeah.
didn't use him. They didn't give him a chance. They didn't put
Yeah.
him in the passing game. This dude could step in to Tampa Bay, to New England, to Philadelphia, to Arizona, any of these teams, and be the lead back as a receiving option, be still a number two back as a runner. And the Jets just were like, hey, we like we like Frank Gore, dude. I don't know what to do. We're 0-5 in the year 2020, and we're running goddamn Frank Gore up the gut 48 times a game because Adam Gase is a goddamn idiot. So,
Oh man.
dude, it's so bad. And like,
Le'Veon Bell to Philly would be pretty sweet.
let's
But
bring him to Pittsburgh. Who cares, dude? Holy
gosh.
shit, the Jets are just a dumpster fire. Trevor Lawrence, stay in school. Justin Fields, stay in school. Trey Lance, you already declared, but like reconsider. I mean, god damn, dude, the Jets are so bad. And like listen, I don't even have any ties to the Jets. I don't care about the Jets. Dan Orlovsky said it, and I'm gonna repeat it. That 0-16 Lions team, who was absolutely pitiful,
Yeah.
would beat the living shit out of these Jets, dude. They would beat them to death. You could take the best Jets players in the last 3 years, and they're still not winning this game this weekend, dude. They are so bad. Their best player is a left tackle who hasn't played left tackle since probably high school. And he's a rookie. Their best defensive player is, I don't know. I don't know.
Their best defensive players at the goal line because that's what stops the drives.
Holy shit. Like, dude, I don't want this to be a weekly thing, but it might be. They are so bad.
Oh man.
The Browns look like a top tier organization. Washington, with all of this off-field stuff, their on-field product's been gross. They look like an elite front office organization. For one reason, they don't employ Adam Gase in the year 2020. Peyton Manning set records in 2013. Imagine if Adam Gase wasn't calling his shots. Peyton Manning might throw for 80 touchdowns that season. Holy dude, he's so bad. But anyway, just dude, they're so bad. This dude still has a job. They took him over Le'Veon Bell, which, listen, I wouldn't pay running backs that much money either. But when you have a rookie running back and a rookie left tackle fighting with your head coach about playing time, hey, dude. He lost control of the locker room.
Oh, yeah, that's the understatement of the year.
God, all right.
What's your next pick? Oh man.
Sticking with the Washington team, I got the Giants -2.5 covering that one. They're gonna get on track and get their first win of the year. God, dude, Washington. Where do I start? You benched Mike Haskins because he just wasn't good enough. You give him 0 reps in practice. He doesn't even bother coming to the stadium on Sunday. You've got Alex Smith, who hasn't played in 2 years as your backup, Because, I mean, listen, good story. I'm not, like, laughing. This is just me laughing over from last segment. But you start Kyle Allen, who the only reason Ron Rivera gets fired and the Panthers have a top 10 pick is because Kyle Allen played quarterback for you last year. You've been playing Haskins for this dude, and he runs and he lowers his head, initiates contact, knocks himself out of the game against Jalen Ramsey. And Alex Smith has to come into the game, which, by the way, gets sacked by Aaron Donald, and everybody gets nervous.
Hold on just a second. I just saw a dude eat shit on a skateboard here in front of me. If you didn't notice, I'm in the truck, and I am doing everything not to laugh at this guy's.
Hey, it's right with our dude. If there was a way to like, I don't even like wrap up like the this dude eating shit on a skateboard. So like, dude, the Washington, they decide, hey, we're not gonna let Haskins run this team. We're gonna go Kyle Allen. Hey, that's your prerogative. Your offense, dude, they put up 108 total yards.
Hey, that's a lot.
10 points.
Yeah, that's a lot for the
shit on.
108 yards is a lot for the first half of the first quarter.
Well, 8 times as long and not 8 times the points. That's not great. So they're bad. The Giants 0-5, way better than Washington now. I mean, they still probably can get Chase Young to win Defensive Rookie of the Year, but God, dude. At least the Giants are competing. They almost beat the Rams, who just beat the shit out of Washington, like I just said. They almost beat the Cowboys. The Giants are bad, but they're not like.
They can win that division if they get hot.
New York and in the Northeast, right?
Yeah.
There's bad. There's the Jets, who are 0-5, and it's 0-5. And then in the same stadium, there's the Giants, who are 0-5 and are bad. Both teams 0-5. They're gonna fight for the number 1 pick. And the gap between the Jets and the Giants is astronomical. At least Daniel Jones is showing something.
Oh, man.
Defense can compete and make some stops.
I am sitting here dying.
They don't have their best player in Saquon Barkley, and they're still scoring 30 points. Like, dude, I'm sorry. The Giants are going to beat the Washington football team pretty bad. I've got it being 24-17, which isn't crazy, but like, hey, if Washington scores 17, kudos to Ron Rivera. God, they are bad.
Oh, goodness.
Hey, man, shout out Kyle Allen for being bad at football and still being a starting quarterback this year after being literally dog shit last year. Starting job.
Oh, man. That leads us to my lock of the week. I am going to keep rolling. Keep on rolling with the Tennessee Titans, -3.5 at home against Houston. Both teams coming off dubs. Tennessee looked like world beaters on Tuesday night. They got a lot of momentum. This is a division game. You got 4-0 against 1-4. This one seems pretty easy to call. You have a team who just fired their head coach 1 week ago, played a dog shit Jacksonville team. Not a lot to read out of that game. You have a Tennessee team who just beat a previously undefeated Buffalo team at home by 25.
26.
Oh, well, excuse me. Don't let me underplay what they did. This one is my lock of the week. Tennessee -3.5. This one is going to be a 3-score game. We're going to be talking whether or not Tennessee is the best team in the NFL after this week. 37-20 over 53. Tennessee wins. My lock of the week.
I was surprised that game is only 3.5. Like, Houston's coming off a win, but like,
Yeah, that's a wash. That
Yeah,
is a
it
wash.
seems easy. I didn't. I have that game being. Where is it? I have it 27-23 Titans, which is a lot closer than I expected. But like, I still think they cover pretty comfortably.
Yeah, easy cover.
Um,
What's your lock of the week, Luke?
my lock of the week. Last week I went with the Rams. They beat Washington pretty handily. So this week we're coming back with the Rams. They are 3.5 point favorites against the Niners, who just got shit on by the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Jimmy Garoppolo looked like, I don't know, the worst quarterback in football. Well, the Rams are a lot better of a team than the Dolphins. I don't know if you knew that or not. And yeah, the Niners are hosting it, but I don't know who they're going to play at quarterback. I like the Rams. I got them winning at 34-21.
Okay.
Hammer it, lock it, zip it, toss that key away.
Hopefully it's a 6-0 week for your boy this week. We got to get back in the standings. Luke is hot.
Yeah, you need it.
Luke is red hot right now.
I am kicking your ass.
Yeah. I mean,
you're doing all right. You're doing all right, money line, but
yeah. I mean, money line, we're doing good, but money line. I mean, it's you make your money on the spread, so we got to get our spread picks up. So, regardless, it was an all favorites week for me this week. Big week for -3.5 point favorites. I don't know. We'll see. A lot of fun stuff coming up this week. Like I said, we got no basketball, hockey. You see me wearing the Leafs shirt. Let me talk about that real quick. Leafs. It's hard to tell. They signed T.J. Brody. They got a defenseman that they needed. It wasn't Pietrangelo. I said last week that I would blow a top if they did not sign him. It was tough. Their really difficult. They did have to trade Mango. They did have to. They traded Kapanen. They signed Wayne Simmons, who's got a little bit of grit to him. That's what they needed. They need a little bit of toughness. Did their team get significantly better in the last week? Not really. I think that, I think I don't know if their team is that much better than what they were 1 week ago. We're gonna find out. Obviously, Pietrangelo signs with Vegas. Vegas probably clear-cut favorites to win the Cup next year. Taylor Hall signs with Buffalo. You had who signed with goalie? Just signed with or not goalie. Defenseman Torrey Krug. He signs with St. Louis. A lot of goalie movement last week. Markstrom goes to Calgary. Fleury, I think, is going to be on the move here pretty quick. I'm blanking on the other goalies that moved last week. It doesn't matter. A lot of movement in hockey last week. Excited. Hopefully their season starts up here in a couple months. To wrap things up for this week, big fight this weekend. Vasily Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez. All 4 belts are on the line. The WBA, WBC, WBO, and IBF championships of the world are on the line. Lightweight, 135 pounds. Vasily Lomachenko, arguably the best boxer in the world right now. If you watch his fights, the guy is he might be the hardest puzzle to figure out in combat sports. Orlando Salido did it years ago, but the guy's just so good. I mean, if you ever watch his workouts online, go watch him, dude. This guy is different. This guy, he is surgical in his precision. He's an absolute blast to watch. I think he wins this weekend. I'm going to predict a finish. I think he gets a TKO finish in the 10th. This one has fight. It's hard for me to say fight of the year candidate because Cepeda and Barichek had fight of the year a couple weeks ago with the knockout of the year. That's a lock. Just an absolute. If you haven't watched that one, go watch it. 8 knockdowns in 5 rounds, 15 minutes well spent. Go watch it if you haven't. This one here has might be the biggest fight of 2020 outside of Wilder and Fury back in February. Just a lot of cool stuff this weekend. Watch it if you can. It's on free TV, ESPN. Go watch it. Don't have to stream it. Don't have to whip out the old credit card. go do it. Next weekend, Khabib, Gaethje, a lot of fun stuff coming up, man.
How about that UFC knockout last weekend?
Dude, so that one, Joaquin Buckley, man, that was crazy, man. Just catches a side kick or catches a body kick, and then just off one leg, spinning back kick to the face, walk-off knockout. One of the crazier knockouts I've seen in mixed martial arts. I mean, you don't expect a guy to throw that kick from that position. Really, if you throw a kick and it gets caught, the first thing you want to do is get both feet back on the ground so that way you can reestablish position. This guy said, nah,
I don't need it.
we built different over here, cuz. And I mean, I wouldn't have been expecting it either. I mean, the last thing you expect is for a guy to turn around on one foot, power enough to get the foot up to your face and knock you out clean. That's exactly what happened. I hope dude got a fat paycheck in the back. Forget that $50,000 knockout of the night, performance night. I hope that guy got an extra zero added to that bonus. Absolutely crazy knockout.
Wild.
Yeah, crazy, man.
Oh
So.
God. We did just get some news. Well, I don't know how newsy it is, but going back to the Jets, they just put one of their players on the trade block, Quentin Williams. Top like 5 pick 2 years ago. Hey, kudos to the Jets, man. Killing it. I got to take a second here and discuss fantasy football, man.
Oh man, this one's rough. This one's rough.
I don't even know what the final score was.
I think it was like 121 to like 94, maybe. It was rough. Your boy copped a 30-point L last week in our Crystal League, and it was
I don't know if I'm gonna win this week. I got a lot of guys out, but all my teams won last week. I think I'm 3-2 in every single league, so I'm balling right now. I'm 4.
Yeah, it was a rough week for your boy last week. So, hey, it's all right. We'll come back next week. I'll have a lot of good news to report.
No, listen.
We're turning it around.
Is so ass. Our last place team in our division would be first in your division. No division is above 500. Meanwhile, we got an undefeated team, a couple 4-1s, a couple 3-2s.
Yeah. Yeah.
That must be nice playing in the fucking lightweights.
2 seed, baby. Let's go.
Sorry, you down south don't know how to play fantasy football.
Hey man, Highway 65, man. We know what good football is, man.
Dude, that's so perfect too, because you're an Eagles fan, and all you have to do is be somewhat not asked to win. That's so bad, dude. What's your goal this year? Make the playoffs? Don't be dog shit and you'll get in. Congrats. Come on. What's the playoff format?
It's 12-team format, so only 2 teams don't make it.
What's that gonna be? Your guys' it's gonna be your guys' 5 and 6. That's pretty much a lock.
Well, and it's the division winners get the 1 and 2 seed. The top 2 wild cards get buys, and then it's 5 through 12, and then you reseed it every week.
Bro, it's gonna be our 1 and your 1, and then our 2 through 6 are gonna be the rest. Oh, that's so pathetic, bro. You guys are gonna have all your guys playing each other in the playoffs.
Oh man,
dude, it's like goddamn Astros getting to the playoffs because it's tailored perfectly to them.
Yeah, our division's bad, but we're making a comeback this week, getting to 500.
Yeah, it has to happen. Somehow. Unless you tie.
Oh man.
Yeesh.
Yeah. So
podcast, got to carry the fantasy league, got to do everything around here.
Hey, I'm trying my best, man. What can I say? I'm trying. Oh goodness. Well, guys, that's all the fun we're gonna have this week. We will be back next week with hopefully some baseball news. Hopefully, World Series is kicking off. Maybe we'll have a winner by this time next week. Who knows? We'll have more fantasy updates. We'll have more picks, and we'll have some more fight news coming up. So that's all we got this week. I'm Keanan Allstott. Follow me on Twitter at Keanan Allstott. That's Luke Parrish. Follow him on Twitter at Luke Parrish_NFL. Got a lot of cool stuff coming up. We will see you next week, guys. Peace.
Yeah, yes, sir. Peace out, guys. We will see you on the flippity.